Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We continue the talking about prohibition in Islam. And before I get into the levels of haram or the level of prohibition, I just want to answer this question. What makes something haram? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly states in the Quran that He made things prohibited for us, not as a punishment, but as to try to purify our life from anything that is evil or impure. In Surah numbers or chapter number 7, in the verse number 32 and 33, and also verse number 157, Surah Al-A'raf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly states that the good things in life are made permissible and the bad things in life are made, or the impure things are made prohibited. In the ayah number 157, Allah makes it clear that one of the tasks of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is to make that which is good permissible and to make that which is evil prohibited for the believers. So please go back to these ayat, chapter number 7, verse number 32 and 33, and also verse number 157. So the levels, what are the levels of tahrim, or the level of prohibition? I would like to give you an example. Alcohol is haram. Drinking alcohol is haram unequivocally, no doubt, clearly stated in the Quran. Sitting at a table or sitting in a gathering where alcohol is served is also prohibited. It's also haram. But these are two different levels of prohibition, because while drinking alcohol is haram in itself, it's called in Arabic al-muharram li dhatihi, haram in itself, while sitting at a table where alcohol is served is haram, is prohibited, because it may lead to the person end up consuming alcohol or drinking alcohol. So the two levels of prohibition are unequal. Why is this important? This is called the muharram in itself, or per se muharram, and the muharram or the prohibited, because it might lead to the bigger prohibition. And there are so many examples we can think of in fiqh, in Islamic jurisprudence, that actually clearly illustrates this concept. Why is it important to know or to distinguish between what is the highest level of prohibition, the prohibition in itself, like zina or sex outside of marriage, or like alcohol, or like usury, to consume or to earn money through riba, versus the levels of haram, which is a lower level of haram, of prohibition, that is haram because it leads to that higher level. It is extremely important to know, because the haram in itself, the highest level of haram, can only be, you can only consume alcohol, for example, or an alcohol containing drink if you are about to die of thirst and there's nothing else to drink. You can consume pork or consume a dead animal only if you are going to die, if you are, that is called the level of darura, or the level of necessity. But the haram, the lower level of haram, and I don't want to minimize it, I'm saying a lower level in relative to that higher level. The lower level of haram can be actually committed in a case that is lower in compulsiveness, if you will, than a darura. It's called the level of need, or the level of haja. For example, if you are at a business gathering, this is part of your job. You need to be there because you work for this company, and the company has an activity, and the activity is needed for your job to be performed, and you need to be there, and alcohol is going to be served. You will not touch this alcohol, but it is also prohibited that you are there. But this is at a lower level prohibition, and there is a need for you to be there. Then yes, you can be there, you can attend the activity, be there for as long as needed, and then you can immediately leave. So that is why it is important to understand the levels of tahrim, the levels of prohibition. I hope this concept is clear, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to benefit us from what we say and what we hear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.